Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Academy here at Prairie Sports Village, and I'm going to do a head-to-head. This is not a longest drive, this is just a standard head-to-head. I've got the new TAYLORMADE M2 driver for 2017. I'm going to pitch it up against the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic, the normal Epic driver. I'm going to hit 10 shots each with these two golf clubs, hit 10 ProV1s on GC2 HMT. I'm also testing out the new GC quad down here today as well, but I'm going to use the data off the GC2 and HMT today to show what the differences are between these two golf clubs, if there is any at all. I've got these in exactly the same shaft. These are the Aldila Rogue 70-gram shafts in both of these two drivers, and I've got them as closely matched as spec as I can. The loft of the M2 is 9.75, and the loft of the Callaway is 10. So as close as I can get these two heads matching up as I can. The reason why I'm pitching these two close together, because they've got similar weight distribution. The centre of mass, the centre of gravity is as far back on both of these drivers as possible to offer most forgiveness level. We've got composite crown on the top of the head with the M2, the contrast between the white border and the real carbon crown. And then we've got a little bit of carbon in the Callaway, but it's more disguised. It's kind of subtly placed in. But the big talking point with the Callaway is the gel brake technology. These two, they're not steel, aluminium rods, titanium rods that stick from the front to the top and the bottom of the club that helps support the head. Let's give them a whack. So I'm going to go M2 first. I'm going to hit 5, then swap over to the Callaway, hit 5. Just so you don't need to see every shot, I'm going to show you a selection of them, and I'm going to jump back on the computer and see what the stats say between these two golf clubs. Let's start off with TAYLORMADE M2, the big stick. Okay, so that was 5 hit with the TAYLORMADE. I'm now going to move on to the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic. 5 with this, I'm going to repeat the process until we've got 10 with each. Okay, so 5 done with each so far. I'm going to go back to the TAYLORMADE now and hit 5 more with each, and then we can dive through the numbers. Coming to the last 5 now for the Callaway. I've always enjoyed doing these tests. 5 more with the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic. Okay, so that is all of the shots done from both clubs. It's not a bad one to finish on, is it? So let's have a look at the numbers now. I'll pull it up on screens and get some averages of the two clubs and see how they performed head to head. I think this is going to be an interesting one. Right guys, so the numbers are in. We've gone TAYLORMADE M2 new one versus Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic, standard Epic. That was an interesting test. I enjoyed hitting the clubs. Now, to give you an idea of what feedback I got from the clubs, one was much louder than the other. TAYLORMADE was much louder than the Callaway. Callaway had like a really dead sound to it coming off the face. The TAYLORMADE was much louder. I can't quite put a description on the loudness, but it was more of a crack, where the Callaway was definitely more of a thump. And I felt like with the Epic, over testing it for the last few months, it does feel quite hard off the face. It doesn't feel as springy, where on the TAYLORMADE one, I can feel it almost spring off the face to a degree. Is that the gel brake technology? Possibly so. Let me take my glove off. Right, let's have a look at some data. Let's look at the ball data first from the two clubs. So I've gone with the averages over the 10 shots here. I've left all of them in, just so we can kind of see them. And very interesting results. Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic had a carry distance on average of 281. And that's about where I see the average sits when I do a test like this, when I'm not trying to hit the ball ridiculously hard. I'm trying to hit it like I would do on the golf course. 281 carry for 301 total distance, 162 miles per hour ball speed, 13 degrees launch angle with 2,500 RPM spin. I wouldn't expect too much low spin because it's not a low spin driver. Moving into the TaylorMade M2, the new version, it beat or carried further than the Callaway by 2 yards. So we're talking 2 yards of carry distance. But actually 4 yards of extra total distance. It had 305 total distance compared to 301. And I'm thinking it has that extra bit of rollout distance because the spin rate was 500 RPM less, which is a lot. The launch angle was lower, but I think you might have heard me say at the start of the video, there's about a 0.25 of a loft decrease in the TaylorMade there is in the Callaway with these two clubs. It's just the heads that I've got, they're the closest match that I can actually get them to be. So launch and spin characteristics there, because the ball speed is actually slower on the TaylorMade. For me, the launch and spin was definitely lower on the TaylorMade, and that spin numbers definitely made that ball total distance longer. Direction-wise, I was finding that the Callaway for me had a tendency of moving more to the right. I had a tendency of moving that Callaway, didn't really miss left with the Callaway. Where with the TaylorMade one, I was actually moving that left and right and straight. So I found my dispersion was just a little bit wider with the TaylorMade, even though the centre line was pretty accurate. I did hit very straight shots, in fairness. I saw the club head data, just to show you the test as close as I can get it, is matched as closely as I can possibly get it. We see the club head speed there. The Callaway was actually just creating a mile/hour faster club head speed. Dynamic loft, again, the Callaway was up on the dynamic loft. You can then see the face angle was the same, pretty much. The path was very much the same, 1.5 degrees from the inside. Attack angle was both just nearly 2 degrees up. Strike location there in top right corner was almost identical, almost exactly the same. So on a head-to-head basis, very similar numbers. Like I say, the only difference I can see in the loft and the spin numbers may come down to a smidgen of loft, actual what these drivers are, because I actually don't know the exact measurement. There's got to be a tolerance of some description in there, and the fact that I can't get them perfect, but it's not that much difference really. 0.75 of a difference isn't a lot at all. I'll leave all the data up on screen for you here, so if you want to dive through it, feel free. That's all the ball data for the TaylorMade on top, so feel free to pause the screen and look through it as you wish. That's all the Callaway ball data, so again, dive through that as much as you please, and I'll show you the club data. That's the club data for the TaylorMade on top, and then the club data for the Callaway down at the bottom. And again, guys, if you want to pause it and go into it in more detail, absolutely feel free. For me, the biggest difference there was the feel of the two drivers opposed to the performance. The performance were very closely matched, but I found the feel to be very, very different. And I found the direction just to be favouring slightly different shot shapes with the two drivers. That's the serious head-to-head. All right, that's the serious stuff done. I'm glad that's over with. We're now going to move into something a bit silly. We're going to do a longest drive competition between these two drivers. And when I say longest drive, I just mean I'm going to hit them as hard as I can possibly hit them, and let's see which one of them goes furthest. That might suit some people. That was the serious stuff done. Let's go and do the fun stuff. And then I'm going to do the same two tests, the head-to-head and the longest drive, with the TaylorMade M1 driver versus the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic Sub-Zero. So stay tuned for that. If you do not want to miss a video, make sure you hit that red button down below. It's a subscribe button. It is free to do. All you need is a Gmail account, and it just means you don't miss a single video, and I post daily. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have, click thumbs up. What do you think of the outcome of these two drivers? Which one tempts your eye a little bit different? Does one suit your eye better than the other, or do you actually just prefer the performance of one over the other? Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.